Hello everyone, welcome to yet another episode of Emerging Women Leaders of India. In fact, I can say emerging women leaders in manufacturing in India. Today with us, we have Ms. Charmi Nathwani. Ms. Charmi Nathwani is part of Gulab Oil Group, and since last 3 years, she is independently heading the food division, which is known as Gulab Foods. Ms. Nathwani is a computer graduate, and she has done his masters in business administration from SP Jain, Mumbai. After completion of her master, Ms. Nathwani is living her father's dream to take this company pan India, and in last 3 years they are already have good presence in 9 to 10 states. So welcome once again, Ms. Nathwani, and today I would like to know a little bit more about your journey. So I would like to ask my first question, that if we talk about a decade ago, we can only used to find women leaders in either banks or a post office or IT companies. But the time has changed, and even we can find many women leaders in a stereotype industry like FMCG as well. So if we talk about a decade ago, we used to find women leaders either in the banks or in IT sector, but now the scenario has changed. Even if we look at the Intel survey which has been recently rolled out, which says that only 11% of leaders in manufacturing, they are women. But the good part is, some 5 years back, that ratio was around 5 to 6%. So, I'm glad that you are part of that 11%. And with this, can you please share a little bit more about Gulab Foods and your journey with Gulab Foods?
Right. So, I think as you said, I'm a computer graduate. After I started my engineering, I thought, I did not enjoy so much engineering, so then I joined my dad's company, which is Gulab Oil. So I started with a factory unit which we have here in Satej. So there I was just going for like 2-3 hours or maybe 5 hours, but I started from the scratch. What I used to do is I used to sit with the workers who used to fill oils. So I used to interact with them, and I wanted to know that what is their mentality, why are they working for the organization, what all I can learn from them, because I've always heard my father saying one thing, that if you want to learn something from someone, it is best who does it. So I thought, let's start from the scratch, where the oil is made, where it is filled. So I started with that. Sooner, and then I joined FMB. So my uncle, he shifted to Bombay, and we started a new packaging unit in Bombay. So he was looking after production, and then I started marketing. So I used to go in the market with my sales people, and generally we have the majority of people there doing these businesses are Kutchi Gujaratis. So there were a lot of experiences where if something I can share, whenever I used to go there, the first question they would ask me is, are you married or not? Kab ho rahi hai shaadi? So they were not actually interested in, I'm here for work or maybe learn something from them. But yeah, so I felt somewhere ki yaar, no one has even bothered if I'm there or something. Then one day I thought the society would not change as it is us who need to make that change for them as well. So I thought, let's just not quit and still go on. So it was, I think, 1.5 years when I made a difference for them. They were equivalently good with me also joining the company and heading sales there and everything. So then again in 2016 I got married, and after that, so the project was the food project was meant for 2016, but due to wedding and everything I couldn't start during that year. So 2017 I started, and the best part about me starting foods after my marriage was more than my father. Actually, I was very scared that after my marriage my dad wouldn't allow me here to work and everything, but more than that, my father-in-law and my family supported me a lot. They were very happy knowing that I am starting something new, and so due to their support I was able to do all of these things. So I feel then again, my father was still very skeptical that go home early, you have to go now, it is your place, thoda wahan pe bhi dhyan dena chahiye and all. But they were always very supportive. So because of those strengths, and then even eventually my dad got to know that yeah, they are always happy me working. So I think both of it went in sync. And so I could start foods, and before we just started with, maybe I started launched foods in Punjab. So then we did not launch it in Gujarat. I wanted to explore a new market. So then I just learned a lot. My first lot came back, a lot of quality issues, this and that, no good people associated and all. But yeah, after 3-4 years, I can say now I'm doing in 10 states, and the brand is getting good pickup. The products are getting a very good pickup. So yes, I'm very happy.
Great. So I think you have put it across very correctly that it is okay. Obviously, it's a willingness of the individual, but the more important thing is that it is about all of us within the surrounding who can provide the ecosystem. If everyone is supportive, be it in the family or in the office or in the professional life, automatically more and more women will start taking the leadership role. Moving to our next question, madam. Edible oil, generally, it is known as a male dominant business. So you being a woman, what are the challenges you have faced, and what advice would you like to give to our young women entrepreneurs out there?
So as you said, totally edible oil or any manufacturing process as such is a male dominated area. But all I feel is that it is never about a male or a female. I've always learned one thing: merit is what it does. If a male is not good enough merit, I think it does no role. So I feel even in any industry, maybe now when we talk about an edible oil industry, I feel women would do better because our consumers are women. So they are the one who are buying. We understand their consumer behaviors better than any men would do these days. Of course they do, but they take time. Here we can understand, we know the DNA, so we understand it better. Yeah.
True. So, since Gulab Oil and Gulab Group is a family run business, how do you manage the biggest challenge where you must draw a fine line between, a professionally run organization versus family?
Yeah. So actually, the question is apt for our family, because my dad and all, there are 7 people involved. My dad and their 7 siblings. So my dad is the eldest, and in the next generation, I am the elder one. So a lot of we are spread across Gujarat, and one is in Bombay. So every one of us, we had a different unit. So there is no there's no catch in between that someone interfering in someone else's business or something like that. But all the decisions are being taken by my dad, as he is the one who's established the brand and the elder one. After starting Gulab Foods and working pan India, I felt there's a need of us being professional, not in a way that all the rules have to be followed, everything in a way that we are not supposed to interact with any other staff and stuff. But yeah, being a professionally managed organization gives you an edge over a lot of things. When there are systems in place, I feel you can grow multifold. And the best part about this is as a family business, if I say, we are approx dad 7 and then us 5, so I think 12 to 13 of family members involved in the business. It makes a lot of sense, because we at our level are involved in each and every step of any decision that has been made. So it is not just me or my dad or my brother, my cousins are equally involved. Wherever we go, it is always about us. So I feel that is a strength.
So how, after marriage, how do you manage work and home?
So as I said before, for me it was not an issue, because my family are equivalently supportive. Whatever late I go, they are they are even happier than I am. So I feel I'm very blessed in a way that I had no such problems. But yeah, sometimes it is always about then priorities. You have to. So now when we talk about priorities, COVID has very much taught us that family is our priority. So I think whenever there's a chance, we should always be with them and sit with them. So yeah, I've luckily managed till now to make that priority as well.
I'm glad you said that. So when we are talking about COVID,
Yeah.
our viewers would like to know a little bit more about how your organization is shaping up in this tough time.
Yeah. So as our business is an essential commodity, so we had to operate throughout COVID, and especially this area where we are right now was a COVID zone. So this was all locked up. We had to come here in the early morning. We used to come here at 7. We used to leave by 4 while the people were not on streets and everything. So our other factories also managed well during the pandemic. Of course, our staff, they wanted to go home, but we provided with them with a lot of things. As we have a quarters for them, we provided food and everything. The family were treated well because of they were missing people here. They were called in buses to see them. These people were sent there. I think the amount of work that they have done, the staff amount of work that they've done during COVID, I think it's commendable. We couldn't do anything without them because their support was much needed, and while the government said that no essential commodity should be shut, so we had to manage a lot of things and a lot of learning in a way that all in these adverse scenarios also we managed it well. There were a lot of new things that we practiced during COVID. We used to, so wherever we are located, the families, we used to put some stock at a place so the societies could come there and purchase oils from us. So yeah, we've done a lot of such things as well.
No, I think whatever you have done for your people, it's really commendable, and I can say it's an out-of-box idea where rather than sending them home, you brought their family closer to them, which is more important during this tough time without hampering the work. So I think that's a great thing. As a group, you have done it. Now, as I was mentioning that edible oil is always a male-dominant industry in general, So how was your journey towards leadership position been? And have you ever faced any stereotype for being a woman leader and running a family managed business?
So yes, there are a lot of such stereotypes when we, specifically when we go to we have an oil association. So whenever we go there, I think during the first years it was just me going there. I used to sit in a corner, proper male dominated society, because the vendors are all males, the owners are all males, everyone was like that. So then, but eventually when they know that there's someone like this, I used to go interact with them samne se, and but then slowly and gradually when they feel that there is something which we could also add to their organization or to their life, they then thought that nahi yaar ye theek hai. I mean, these people should also be involved. Now I think in our oil association there are 3 to 4 females. So I feel very good about that. Ki pehle it was just me and now we have at least a group of 4. And it's not just about the oil association, it's about everywhere where we go. There's always been a minority of females that have been coming to these events and stuff, though they were always more talented, more experienced in a lot of other things. But yeah, these days it is all, now I feel it is not about male or female, it is just about proving yourself or maybe doing whatever you like, what is right for you.
As you rightly put it across, that definitely one has to lead by the example and prove themselves, but at the same time what is more important is that you should do what you are liking. If your inclination is toward marketing, definitely if you look into it, you can do wonders. So that was really an interesting point. Moving to my next question, what does women empowerment mean to you?
So actually women empowerment, I mean, as I'm kind of a very spiritual person, I believe in a lot of stuff like we Indians have always managed doing women empowerment better than the West. It's the West idea that have come to us saying no, women cannot do this, women cannot do this. But I feel we have seen examples in our family, in the Indian culture, our mothers doing everything that they could. getting us ready for our schools and working for our families and doing everything, still managing to be happy when we are back in the evening, that is something none of us could do. So I feel that women empowerment is not just about being in business or being able to empower women. It is always about the qualities that we see in a male or a female with whatever merit they have. And I think as I said that we have been always worshipping women in our own culture, so I think this should go way long now. So there's no stopping, nothing is stopping us ever. It's just always our mindset which stops us. We always think about ki log kya kahenge. I feel it is never about the people. There is something inside which is stopping you, and I want everyone to know that never think about what people think. That is the most roadblock that you can face. So I feel it is always about just let it be, just go with the flow, do what you like, just enjoy what you feel, enjoy your life. I feel that while even if it is work or it is being home, do your best about whatever you can do.
Exactly. So one has to believe in herself, and one has to accept her the way it is, or way she is. So that is more important. Moving to my last question, are there any tips you would like to share with emerging women leaders?
So yes, as I said, it is always about loving yourself first, and I think doing what other people want you to do doesn't make sense. You need to understand what you are made for, what is your passion, and just do what you want to do in your life. Being a housewife, being an entrepreneur, working for someone else, it always has to come from within. Never come into anyone's pressure. Of course, our parents, they think always good of us, but there is something which is your soul voice. I feel everyone should go follow your soul voice, and it is very important.
Yeah, so it's very important to follow her own voice.
Yeah.
And I think the rest is taken care automatically. So on behalf of CII Young Indians Ahmedabad chapter and Faber Infinite Consulting, I would like to thank you once again for giving us an opportunity to talk with you, and I'm sure your talk and your views will go a long way and definitely empower our women leaders out there. So I would also like to take this opportunity to thank you, our partners, Roundtable India and Rotary International. Thank you very much everyone. Bye-bye.